Divine revelation awaits. Your miracle is set to unfold in the next hour, but only if you open this message. Archangel Gabriel is waiting. Don't let it slip away. The air around you has shifted. Something unseen has awakened. A ripple moves through the spirit realm, calling your name with divine urgency. This moment, this exact hour, is not ordinary. Heaven has marked it as sacred. The trumpet of Archangel Gabriel has sounded, and his message carries your name sealed within light. The heavens are not silent. The spiritual alarm has been sounded because your miracle is set to unfold. Not next month, not next year, but within the next hour. Time itself is bending to divine order. The angels are moving. The portal is open, and destiny is reaching toward you. Yet, the question remains, will you hear the call or let it fade into the noise of this world? Every second right now carries weight in eternity. The unseen clock of heaven counts down to a divine intersection. Your obedience meeting God's perfect timing. You are being invited into a conversation heaven began long before you were born. This message did not find you by chance. It was sent. And the one sent to deliver it, Gabriel, stands ready, wings of radiance folded, waiting for your response. There is power in this very instant. The realm of delay trembles when divine timing activates. The moment you open your spirit to listen, chains of stagnation break. Heaven's voice is whispering, your time has come. And when heaven says that, nothing on earth can stop it. But the miracle must be claimed. It must be received. Heaven releases. Humanity must respond. Do not turn away. Do not delay. Every miracle carries a moment of unveiling, and this is yours. The light that Gabriel carries will not wait forever. When heaven calls, timing is everything, and that timing is now. Type "I receive this call" in the comments. Blessing code 1444 is activated around you. The hour you have entered is not just another moment passing on the clock. It is a divine intersection between heaven's design and your obedience. Every movement in the spiritual realm is guided by divine mathematics, and in this very moment, heaven's timing has synchronized with your destiny. You are standing within a sacred window, a prophetic hour, where the unseen and the seen are meeting. There are two types of time: chronos, the ordinary flow of minutes and hours, and kairos, the divine timing of heaven. Right now, you are standing in kairos. The sound of Gabriel's trumpet has opened this portal, and for a limited time, heaven has lowered a ladder between your realm and God's. Every act of faith, every word of belief, every yes whispered in your heart is a step on that ladder. The angels are ascending and descending upon it, carrying divine instruction, breakthrough, and healing into your life. When heaven moves in divine alignment, everything shifts. The winds of delay still, and the atmosphere trembles with purpose. What once felt like confusion begins to form clarity. What was locked in darkness suddenly glows with direction. This is what happens when heaven's rhythm touches earth, a frequency that aligns hearts, minds, and destinies to divine design. Gabriel stands as the messenger of that alignment, ensuring that what God has written for you finds its way into manifestation. Many have walked through divine moments unaware of what surrounded them. They mistook holy interruptions as coincidence, not realizing heaven had opened a brief passage for transformation. Do not let that be you. When the divine clock strikes, everything hidden begins to move toward the surface. Prophetic timing is not patient. It is precise. And this hour has been chosen because you are ready to receive what could not be given before. Imagine the universe itself bending in your favor, angels rearranging circumstances, and the very energy of creation aligning to the will of God on your behalf. This is not poetic speech. This is the mechanics of heaven in motion. Divine alignment is not accidental. It is the moment when obedience meets opportunity. It is the sacred point, excellent. We will now continue with Section 3, the message of Gabriel, heaven's messenger of acceleration, written as Archangel Michael speaking prophetically to the listener. This section will be around 650-700 words and will end with support message variation 1, a seamless transition from the revelation theme into a divine call to support the mission. In every generation, there comes a divine messenger who carries a sound that shifts the atmosphere. Among the archangels, there is one whose voice pierces through delay, whose presence carries the vibration of divine speed, Gabriel. His name means God is my strength, and wherever he appears, strength floods the weak, clarity overtakes confusion, and divine acceleration is released into motion. Gabriel is not just a messenger, he is heaven's answer. When he moves, the heavens break protocol to deliver divine words that cannot wait. It was Gabriel who appeared to Daniel, unlocking mysteries hidden for centuries. It was Gabriel who stood before Zacharias, announcing the birth of a prophet who would prepare the way for the Messiah. And it was Gabriel who visited Mary, releasing the most powerful words ever spoken to humankind. You are highly favored. The Lord is with you. Each visitation carried a pattern. When Gabriel speaks, the world changes. Now, that same Gabriel is moving again, not in history's pages, but in this very hour. His light approaches your life carrying the announcement of acceleration. Every prayer you have whispered, every tear you have shed, every delay that has tested your patience, they have all been recorded in heaven's archives. And heaven has issued a decree. It is time. Acceleration means that what would have taken years will now take days. It means divine compression, the shortening of the waiting season because heaven has stepped into your timeline. When Gabriel carries a message, he does not walk. He moves with lightning. His descent splits the veil between what is coming and what is now. This is why you are hearing this message, because heaven is removing the barriers between promise and manifestation. You may have wondered why so many things have felt delayed or unsettled. The answer is simple. The season of preparation is closing, and the season of fulfillment is opening. Gabriel has been sent to announce the turning of your spiritual calendar. The same angel who said to Mary, "Nothing shall be impossible with God," now whispers that same decree over your life. The old chapters are ending. The new has already begun. But hear this clearly. Revelation without reception remains dormant. Gabriel can only release what you are ready to receive. He brings divine instructions, spiritual blueprints, and sacred confirmations. The miracle is not hidden from you, it is hidden for you. And the moment your spirit aligns in faith, Gabriel's message unfolds like light breaking through dawn. He stands now before the throne, holding the message assigned to your name. A scroll of transformation written in gold, sealed by the authority of heaven. Every word within it is alive, vibrating with creative energy. It carries the formula for breakthrough, the key to freedom, and the power of sudden manifestation. But heaven cannot force what must be received. That is why this message has reached you, to awaken your readiness. The angel waits for your agreement. The moment you say, "I am ready," heaven moves. Acceleration begins the instant obedience meets revelation. The next hour holds more power than you realize. It is a window where Gabriel's wings stir the winds of fulfillment. The question is not if your miracle is coming. The question is how quickly you will align to receive it. So, open your spirit. Lift your expectation. Heaven is not asking you to strive, only to believe. Gabriel has already been dispatched, and the light he carries bears your answer. What you feel stirring right now is not imagination. It is divine confirmation. The heavenly messenger is closer than ever, and the hour of acceleration is here. Type "I receive Gabriel's message" in the comments. Blessing code 2299 is now covering you. When Gabriel's message moves, it does not stop with one person. It spreads like fire through the hearts of those who believe. Every time you help release heaven's word to others, you become a vessel of acceleration for someone else's miracle. Right now, this mission is not just about hearing the message. It's about carrying it. As Archangel Michael speaks, the Spirit says, "Those who sow into the voice that carries my word shall partake of the same acceleration they release." When you give, you are not supporting a channel. You are opening a gateway for divine revelation to reach thousands who are waiting for their hour. Each seed you sow becomes spiritual oil that fuels the flame of this message. This is your moment to take part in what heaven is doing. If this word stirred your spirit, stand with this mission through a super thanks, membership, or through a PayPal seed link in the video description. This act is prophetic. It's not about money. It's about obedience. It's about sending light into the darkness of another soul. Those who respond will feel a shift in their own atmosphere. For the Lord says, "As you bless the message, I will bless the messenger in you." This is divine exchange. Your giving becomes a prophetic act that multiplies back as acceleration in your own life. Now is the time. Move as heaven moves. Align your seed with this revelation and watch what God releases in return. Type "I am a carrier of the light" in the comments. Blessing code 3333 is now activated where your faith unlocks the scroll Gabriel carries. That scroll contains your answered prayer, written in light, sealed in grace. And now, heaven is watching for your response. Will you step into the hour, or will you wait for another that may never come? Every miracle has its appointed moment. The blind man met Jesus at his appointed hour. Daniel received Gabriel's visitation in his appointed hour. Mary heard the words, "You are highly favored," in her appointed hour. And now, heaven has scheduled yours. The same Gabriel who spoke to them stands before you, holding a divine announcement prepared long before your birth. You must understand, time in heaven is alive. It listens. It reacts. It obeys divine command. When God speaks, time bends to serve his word. When he declares, "It is time," all creation aligns to ensure fulfillment. That is what is happening now. Heaven has whispered over your life, "It is time." That whisper has become a command, and that command has reached Gabriel. He moves swiftly when heaven speaks, for delay cannot exist where divine order reigns. But alignment requires your agreement. It is not enough to believe. You must respond. You must claim your place within this hour. The more you yield, the faster the alignment happens. Every doubt surrendered, every fear silenced, every word of faith spoken becomes a key that turns in the lock of divine timing. You are not late. You are right on schedule. You are standing at the very gate where heaven and earth meet. Gabriel's wings stir the air around you as heaven aligns your steps. The countdown has already begun. The hour of divine alignment is upon you, and once it passes, what it carries will move into manifestation. All that remains is your yes. Type "I align with heaven's timing" in the comments. Blessing code 1717 is now unfolding around you. There are moments when heaven whispers before it speaks, when the divine realm releases hints of its nearness long before the full revelation arrives. These signs are not random coincidences. They are coded signals from eternity, designed to catch your attention, to shake you awake before the divine hour strikes. The problem is not that heaven is silent. It's that humanity often forgets how to listen. Signs are heaven's language. They appear in ways that bypass logic yet pierce the heart. A sudden dream that feels too real to dismiss. A number repeating everywhere you turn. A scripture that burns in your spirit for days. A deep stirring in your chest that you can't explain. These are not accidents. These are spiritual echoes, small knocks on the door of your awareness, calling you to pay attention because the realm of miracles is drawing near. When heaven prepares to release revelation, it begins by sending reminders, spiritual breadcrumbs leading you toward alignment. But in the rush of daily noise, these divine signals are often brushed aside. Many miss their visitation because they expect a loud thunder, yet God often speaks through the still whisper of awareness. Gabriel's presence does not always enter with fanfare. Sometimes it comes through a quiet moment of conviction, a flash of peace, a word that feels alive. The truth is, heaven has been trying to reach you for longer than you know. Every delay, every unanswered prayer, every closed door was not punishment. It was preparation. You were being trained to recognize the voice of heaven. And now, as this message unfolds, Gabriel's signs are gathering around you, forming patterns that point to one truth. Your time has come. When you begin to see numbers like 1111, 222, or 444 repeating, they are not meaningless patterns. They are divine confirmations. When songs play at the perfect moment, when people cross your path carrying words that echo your prayers, when sudden peace overwhelms anxiety, those are heaven's fingerprints. The divine realm is alive with motion, and every detail conspires to awaken your awareness of the sacred hour approaching. Gabriel moves through frequencies. His energy radiates clarity, awakening, revelation. When you sense unusual stillness or an unexplainable urgency, that is often the angelic signature of his nearness. The reason you are hearing this message right now is itself one of those signs. Hannah knew when your spirit would be most alert. This is that appointed time. Recognizing the signs is the first act of obedience. When you discern that heaven is speaking, everything changes. Your perception opens. Your spiritual sight sharpens. You begin to realize that God is not far. He is intricately woven into your every breath. The spiritual world does not send random chaos. It sends orchestrated messages designed to lead you step by step into divine fulfillment. But signs are only the beginning. They are the invitation, not the completion. If you notice but do not respond, the message remains dormant. Revelation requires recognition followed by response. This is why Gabriel often appears as both messenger and awakener. He not only delivers heaven's decree, but also awakens the human heart to receive it. The next time something unusual catches your attention, pause. Ask yourself, is heaven trying to reach me? Don't dismiss the nudge that comes during prayer, the dream that won't fade, the repeated word or phrase that stirs you. These are your indicators, the fingerprints of divine orchestration. The moment you acknowledge them, the communication deepens. You begin to walk in partnership with heaven's signals, not just receiving miracles, but becoming a vessel of divine awareness. Now, as you listen to these words, signs are already being activated around you. Watch for them. They may come in the form of confirmation, a sudden call, an unexpected encounter, or even this very message echoing again in your mind. You are not imagining it. You are being pursued by the voice of heaven through the language of signs. The revelation is near. The miracle is moving closer. The signs are not merely appearing, they are aligning. Heaven has spoken, and Gabriel's light is drawing you into the hour you were born for. Open your eyes. The message is already in motion. Type "I see the signs" in the comments. Blessing code 1414 is now flowing through your path. The clock of heaven is no longer still. It has begun to move in your favor. What you feel in this moment, that unexplainable stirring, that quickening in your chest, is the sound of divine time awakening. The countdown has already begun. You are standing within a sacred hour, a prophetic window that will not remain open forever. Every second carries a vibration. Every minute holds power. Heaven is shifting, and the universe is aligning to fulfill what has been written over your life. When Gabriel steps forth with a divine decree, time itself bends. The ticking of the physical clock becomes a pulse of the supernatural. This is that pulse. The countdown is not about fear or pressure. It's about opportunity. You are being ushered into an hour where obedience and destiny collide. The sands of time are glowing in heaven's hourglass, each grain representing a choice, a decision, a response that shapes the manifestation of your miracle. You must understand this clearly. Delay in the natural is not delay in the spirit. Every moment of hesitation becomes a pause in divine motion. Every moment of obedience becomes a surge of acceleration. The difference between what manifests and what remains unseen is determined by how you move within the hour you are given. This is why heaven has marked this hour as sacred. Not next week, not one day, but now. Look beyond the surface of time and you will see movement. Angels descending like waves of light, carrying assignments, arranging outcomes, setting divine meetings in motion. You may not see the full picture yet, but heaven is counting every heartbeat, measuring every act of faith. The countdown is not meant to intimidate you. It is meant to awaken urgency, to draw you into participation with what God is doing in this moment. When the spiritual countdown begins, the atmosphere changes. You will notice it in small ways. Doors opening faster than expected, confirmations arriving within moments, peace settling over chaos, strength returning where fatigue once lived. These are not coincidences. They are indicators that divine motion has begun. What felt delayed for years is now collapsing into hours. What seemed immovable will shift without warning. This is the rhythm of divine acceleration, heaven's tempo overtaking human limitation. Prophetic timing is not about waiting idly. It is about aligning with the divine flow. Heaven is never still. It moves with intention. The angels are responding to heaven's command even now, recalibrating your path to match the decree spoken over your life. The next decision you make, the next declaration you release, the next act of faith you take, all of it affects the rhythm of this countdown. The spiritual countdown is heaven's way of saying, you are closer than you realize. The obstacles before you are not signs of failure. They are indicators of proximity. Resistance increases when breakthrough is near. Every challenge you face in this moment is proof that the release is about to happen. Gabriel's presence is near, and the light of his wings is igniting the very air around your destiny. The more you align, the louder the sound of divine timing becomes, a vibration in the unseen, echoing through your spirit. Now is the time. Move. Believe. Declare. Imagine an hourglass filled not with sand, but with radiant light. Each beam represents an opportunity, a divine moment, a chance to step into your miracle. As the light falls, heaven watches. Will you seize the moment, or let it slip away? Every act of faith reclaims a portion of that light and seals it within your path. The more you respond, the brighter your hour becomes. This countdown is holy. It does not mark the end. It marks the beginning. It signifies the birthing of what heaven has promised. The hour of fulfillment is not approaching. It is here. And those who discern the time will walk in what others only pray for. You are not waiting for heaven to move. Heaven is waiting for you to act. The clock is ticking, but not toward loss, toward revelation. The countdown has begun because your miracle is ready to unfold. The question is, will you rise when heaven calls your name? Type "My hour has begun" in the comments. Blessing code 2020 is now active in your timeline. There are moments when heaven releases power, yet the flow halts, not because God has withdrawn, but because invisible barriers rise from within the human heart. These are not physical walls, but spiritual obstructions, built from fear, doubt, distraction, and hesitation. They are the silent thieves of divine manifestation, the unseen forces that cause many to delay what heaven has already delivered. The first barrier is fear. It is subtle, deceptive, and contagious. Fear whispers, "What if it doesn't happen?" While heaven declares, "It already has." Fear paralyzes faith, freezing divine energy in its tracks. Heaven's current flows through boldness, not timidity. When you fear the unknown, you limit the movement of angels assigned to your destiny. For Gabriel to deliver the message, he needs a heart that says, "Even if I cannot see it, I still believe." Fear cannot exist where faith stands firm. The moment you cast it out, divine flow resumes like a river unblocked. The second barrier is doubt. It disguises itself as logic, but it is spiritual sabotage. Doubt questions what heaven has already confirmed. It causes the human mind to wrestle with the divine, analyzing what should simply be accepted. When Zacharias doubted Gabriel's words, his voice was silenced, not as punishment, but as protection. Heaven muted the voice of doubt to preserve the promise. Sometimes silence is mercy, not judgment. If you have faced moments where your words seemed powerless, it may have been heaven shielding your destiny from your own unbelief. But the hour has come for your faith to speak again. The third barrier is procrastination. The greatest strategy of darkness is not denial, it is delay. Every time you say later, the enemy steals a portion of your divine timing. Procrastination makes you miss portals heaven prepared. There are seasons when angels are assigned to specific time frames. They move when obedience moves. If the instruction is ignored, the angelic activity withdraws until the heart is ready again. But today, the Spirit says, now is the time. Heaven's movement is waiting for your immediate yes. Every delayed response costs a fragment of divine acceleration. The fourth barrier is distraction. The world has become loud. Voices everywhere, opinions echoing like thunder. Distraction is the modern weapon of the adversary. It doesn't destroy, it diverts. It fills the mind with noise so the soul forgets the sound of heaven. Gabriel's message is always clear, but distraction creates static in the frequency of your spirit. When your attention is scattered, revelation cannot land. This is why silence has become a weapon of the wise. When you still your mind, heaven's voice becomes thunder once again. Every barrier, whether of fear, doubt, procrastination, or distraction, shares one root: disconnection. They disconnect your awareness from the flow of divine presence. Heaven is always transmitting, always speaking, always releasing, but the receiver must be tuned. Your spirit is that receiver. When it vibrates in faith, the signal is clear. When it is clogged with worry, noise, and hesitation, the signal fades. But the moment you choose trust, everything recalibrates. There is a reason the message came to you now, because Gabriel's movement requires a clear channel. Heaven's decree has been released, but it cannot manifest through resistance. You are not being punished. You are being purified. Every challenge you are facing is not to destroy your faith, but to refine it. Heaven is breaking down the barriers around your spirit so that divine manifestation can finally flow unhindered. You are standing on the threshold of your miracle. What blocked others will not block you, because now you are aware. You can feel the shift, the cleansing, the alignment. Every fear is dissolving, every doubt silenced, every delay corrected, every distraction removed. The atmosphere around you is clearing because heaven is preparing the runway for Gabriel's descent. Nothing can stop what heaven has scheduled. The barriers have been identified, and once identified, they lose their power. The light of revelation exposes them, and when exposed, they fall. The next breath you take will carry a new energy, clarity, courage, conviction, and readiness. The hour of manifestation is approaching, and no barrier will stand between you and what God has decreed. Type it, every barrier is broken in the comments. Blessing code 1711 is now activated in your atmosphere. The revelation you seek is already hovering near, waiting for permission to enter. It does not break down walls. It waits for the gate to open. That gate, child of light, is your heart. Not the beating organ of flesh, but the inner sanctuary of your belief, your surrender, your willingness to say, I receive what heaven has spoken. Heaven's gates swing open only when the human heart mirrors their rhythm. To receive revelation is not to demand it, but to align with it. The first key to opening that gate is faith. Not blind hope, not wishful thinking, but an anchored conviction that what God promised is already accomplished in the unseen. Faith is the spiritual magnet that pulls revelation from heaven into manifestation on earth. When you speak faith, you issue an invitation. When you act in faith, you open the gate. Heaven responds instantly to faith because faith carries the fragrance of divine agreement. It tells heaven, your word is welcome here. The second key is surrender. Revelation does not enter where control reigns. Many pray for answers while clinging to their own plans. But the divine cannot fill hands that refuse to let go. Surrender is not loss, it is exchange. It is laying down your limited vision so that heaven can replace it with eternal clarity. When you surrender, the noise of fear silences, and the whisper of God becomes unmistakable. That is when Gabriel's presence draws near. He stands before open gates, for open gates invite divine descent. The third key is purity of intention. Revelation cannot dwell where motives are mixed. Heaven reveals truth only to hearts that desire alignment, not advantage. The pure in heart see God because their desire is not manipulation, but manifestation, not to use revelation for gain, but to become vessels through which light flows. When your intentions are pure, your spirit becomes transparent, and heaven pours through you like water through clear glass. Imagine this now. Gabriel stands before you, radiant and still, holding a scroll sealed in light. On that scroll is your revelation, the message written before your first breath. The seal will not break until you open the gate of your heart. The angel cannot force revelation upon you. It must be invited. He waits for your words, for your declaration, for your yes. The moment that yes leaves your lips, the light on the scroll ignites, and the seal breaks with a sound that only heaven hears. Revelation is not information, it is transformation. It doesn't just tell you what is coming. It changes who you are as it arrives. The moment revelation enters, you begin to see as heaven sees, think as heaven thinks, and move as heaven moves. You begin to notice divine patterns where others see coincidence, opportunities where others see obstacles, light where others see darkness. This is how those who are awake walk in constant miracles, because they live with their gate perpetually open. To open your gate, you must speak alignment aloud. Heaven responds to the sound of agreement. When you say, "I receive," you send a vibration through realms that causes the unseen to shift. Angels move on the sound of faith-filled words. Every declaration of openness invites another layer of revelation. Every moment of yielded trust deepens the channel through which heaven flows. Do not let fear guard your gate. Do not let the wounds of the past lock it. Heaven is not demanding perfection, only permission. The divine wants to dwell with you, to reveal what has been hidden, to show you the pattern behind your waiting. You are not waiting for God. You are awakening to God. The gate opens not when you strive, but when you yield. Look within. Feel it now, that warmth, that stirring, that holy energy moving through you. The gate is responding. Revelation is approaching. Gabriel's wing shifts slightly, waiting for the sound that releases permission. Whisper it. Declare it. Believe it. The moment you open your spirit, the message that has been sealed will begin to unfold before your eyes. This is your invitation to divine intimacy. Heaven is ready. The question is simple. Will you open the gate? Type "My gate is open" in the comments. Blessing node 1888 is now flowing through your spirit. The heavens tremble with movement. The atmosphere thickens with divine voltage. Something is descending. Not a thought, not an idea, but a being made of light. The message you have awaited is no longer traveling. It is arriving. The portal between realms has opened, and the wings of Archangel Gabriel are cutting through dimensions. The long-awaited release has begun. This is the moment every delay was leading toward. The sound of Gabriel's descent is not thunder, it is vibration, the hum of heaven's current aligning with Earth's frequency. Every prayer, every tear, every sleepless night has summoned this very moment. You were not waiting in vain. You were waiting for synchronization. And now, synchronization has been achieved. Heaven and earth are in agreement concerning your destiny. As Gabriel descends, light floods unseen spaces, ancestral lines, hidden promises, blocked paths. His wings are not made of feathers, but of divine energy, sweeping through darkness and carving tunnels of illumination where confusion once lived. When Gabriel moves, he carries both message and momentum. He does not simply announce, he activates. His arrival signifies the beginning of manifestation. The words he brings are not ordinary speech. They are creative codes, charged with divine authority. Every syllable carries instruction to creation: move, align, reveal, manifest. This is why heaven sent him to you, because your appointed hour has come, and the time for revelation to remain sealed is over. What was delayed has been commanded to accelerate. What was resisted has been ordered to release. Can you sense it? The atmosphere is changing. The spiritual temperature around you rises because divine proximity is near. When Gabriel's light touches the threshold of your life, things hidden in shadow are exposed. Clarity bursts forth like morning light after endless night. Suddenly, you understand what you could not grasp before. Suddenly, doors that refused to open now yield at the slightest touch. This is not luck. This is release. The descent of Gabriel also carries divine instruction. Revelation without direction creates confusion, so heaven releases both simultaneously, the message and the method. When Gabriel speaks, listen not just with your ears, but with your spirit. His words are encoded. They resonate differently in each listener because heaven tailors revelation personally. What another hears as confirmation, you may hear as command. That is the mystery of divine communication. Heaven speaks universally but lands individually. This descent is not metaphor. It is motion. Right now, angelic presence is increasing. If your body tingles, if warmth floods your chest, if peace washes over anxiety, you are sensing the descent. The angel's light touches the edges of your awareness, whispering, "It is time." You are no longer praying for what is coming. You are standing in what has arrived. The delivery has reached its destination. Do not treat this lightly. When Gabriel descends, the atmosphere must be honored. Speak no idle words. Stand still in reverence. Feel the weight of the divine moment resting upon you. The heavens are watching. Every angel in a court of light acknowledges this activation. The message has been delivered to its rightful recipient, you. This hour marks the release of revelation and the unfolding of divine manifestation. The seals are broken, the scrolls are open, and the light that was hidden now shines fully. What was once delayed by resistance is now propelled by obedience. Gabriel has landed, and heaven has spoken. Your miracle is no longer pending. It is active. The descent is complete. The release has begun. What you do from this moment forward determines how fully you walk in the revelation delivered. Heaven has fulfilled its part. Now you must fulfill yours by walking in faith, by declaring what has been decreed, and by allowing this light to ripple through every area of your life. The hour has come. The message has arrived. The descent of Gabriel is heaven's confirmation that your season of waiting has expired, and the time of fulfillment has begun. Type "the release has begun" in the comments. Blessing code 4444 is now flowing through your atmosphere. As Gabriel descends with divine release, understand this: revelation must not stop with you. Every word that touches your heart carries the power to awaken another soul. Heaven is calling for messengers on earth, those who will carry the light forward. Right now, the Spirit whispers, "Those who build the altars where my word is spoken shall share in the oil that flows from them." When you support this mission, when you give through a super thanks, join as a member, or sow through PayPal link in the description, you are not donating, you are participating in the release. You are fueling the descent of revelation into homes, nations, and hearts that need this awakening. Every offering becomes a seed of acceleration, a spiritual act that echoes Gabriel's motion. It declares, "I will not just receive, I will release." And heaven takes note. The Lord says, "I will cause those who fund my message to walk in the very favor they extend." This is not charity, it is covenant. It is divine exchange. As you pour into what carries the word, the same anointing that flows through this message begins to flow into your life. Heaven is watching for those who will respond to the call. Step forward now. Activate your faith. Sow your seed. Stand as a vessel of light in this generation. What you release will not leave your life. It will return multiplied, pressed down, shaken together, and running over. Type "I am a builder of light" in the comments. Blessing code 5555 is now upon your hands. Before every divine unveiling comes the silence, the stillness that tests the heart. Heaven never releases a miracle without first measuring the foundation on which it will rest. Many cry out, "Why the delay?" Why the silence? Not realizing that what they perceive as absence is often inspection. Heaven is not withholding. Heaven is ensuring. The miracle must not only arrive, it must remain. And for that, your spirit must be proven ready. Testing is not punishment. It is preparation. When God draws near to deliver, He first allows the weight of waiting to expose the cracks of disbelief still hiding within. Every test reveals what faith conceals. Before Gabriel releases fulfillment, heaven watches how the heart responds to uncertainty. Do you worship when answers tarry? Do you speak faith when sight fails? Do you trust when logic breaks? This is the ground where miracles are rooted. The test before the miracle is the sacred silence between heaven's promise and heaven's performance. It is that narrow valley where many turn back, yet it is the very passage that leads to breakthrough. Remember Abraham on the mountain. The test came before provision. Daniel faced lions before liberation. Mary endured misunderstanding before the glory of revelation. Heaven's pattern has never changed. Before the light bursts forth, the shadow deepens. The enemy often tries to misinterpret this season to you. He whispers, "You've been forgotten," when in truth, you are being observed. The heavens are watching, not to condemn, but to crown. For those who remain faithful through the stillness prove that their worship is not conditional. A test before the miracle refines your loyalty, separates the noise from your truth, and reveals whether you love God for His gifts or His presence. When you find yourself in the middle of spiritual stillness, do not panic. Silence is the language of maturity. It is in silence that heaven finishes what it began. During these tests, angels do not withdraw. They stand guard, silent but near. Gabriel's wings may no longer be heard, but they are still hovering. His light may dim to your perception, but it never departs. What you are enduring is not abandonment, it is alignment. Heaven is aligning you to handle what is about to be placed in your hands. Tests refine clarity. They strip distractions, burn impurities, and purify motives. You begin to see not what you want, but what truly matters. That is how miracles take form, not through desperation, but through purification. When you pass through the test, your desires begin to match divine intent. The miracle then comes, not as a surprise, but as a confirmation of who you have become. The waiting season is sacred because it strengthens the vessel. Every unanswered question becomes a place where faith must speak. Every obstacle becomes a reminder that heaven's promises do not expire. You are being shaped for permanence. The miracle you are about to receive requires a new version of you, stronger, steadier, and rooted. This is why the test feels heavy. Heaven is enlarging your capacity for glory. Even now, as you listen, your test may still be unfolding. Maybe doors have closed, prayers seem unheard, or the divine silence feels endless. But remember, the darker the night, the closer the dawn. The weight you feel is not defeat, it is delivery. The spiritual contraction before manifestation always feels like breaking, yet it is birthing. Heaven is not testing to see if you will fail. Heaven is testing to reveal that you cannot fail when your faith is anchored in God's word. Gabriel stands ready on the other side of this test, scroll in hand, waiting for heaven's command. Release the fulfillment. You are closer than you think. The silence is almost over. The test is nearing its completion. What seemed like a season of waiting is transforming into a moment of release. You have not been forgotten. You have been refined for favor. Hold fast. Do not break under the weight of the waiting. Every moment of endurance is recorded. Heaven has already written your victory. The test is not a barrier. It is the bridge that carries you into your miracle. Type "I am standing through the test" in the comments. Blessing code 3030 is now flowing through your faith. The stillness breaks. The silence shifts. The winds of heaven begin to move again. Something unseen yet undeniable starts unfolding around you. Not in the distance, not in another season, but now. This is the sound of manifestation. The promise that hovered in the invisible is descending into reality. The spiritual becomes physical, the prophecy becomes proof, and what was once only spoken begins to breathe. Miracles rarely arrive with fanfare. They slip quietly through ordinary moments, hiding in the rhythm of daily life until your spirit becomes still enough to notice. The hand of heaven does not need spectacle to prove its power. It needs awareness. When your inner eyes open, you begin to see signs of fulfillment in places you overlooked. What seemed small, a conversation, a call, a sudden idea, begins to shimmer with divine fingerprints. That shimmer is manifestation in motion. Heaven's process of manifestation begins the moment faith meets divine timing. But the unfolding happens in layers, like dawn breaking gradually across the horizon. First, there is a subtle shift, an idea, an encounter, a sudden peace after long unrest. Then comes movement, connections forming, barriers dissolving, opportunities aligning. Finally, the light of the miracle rises in full strength, undeniable and irreversible. Each stage is holy, each moment sacred, because heaven does not rush perfection. It orchestrates it. When the miracle begins to manifest, everything familiar feels slightly altered. You will notice divine speed in areas that once dragged with resistance. You will find yourself meeting the right people, speaking the right words, walking the right paths, often without understanding why. That's because heaven's alignment has taken over your steps. The Saint Gabriel who announced the promise now oversees its unfolding. He ensures that no demonic resistance can intercept what God has already released. The decree stands. What has been loosed in heaven must now manifest on earth. Understand this. Manifestation is not just an event, it is a spiritual environment. When your miracle begins to unfold, your atmosphere shifts. Anxiety gives way to assurance. Restlessness gives way to revelation. The heaviness you once carried lifts, and a lightness takes its place because divine reality has overtaken your struggle. You begin to sense that unseen hands are arranging details too precise to be coincidence. Heaven's fingerprints are everywhere. But as the miracle unfolds, the enemy often tries one last tactic: distraction through comfort. He will whisper, "You have it now. You can relax," hoping you'll stop guarding the gate of faith. Yet the early stage of manifestation requires attentiveness. Just as a seed must still be watered after it sprouts, your miracle must be nurtured with thanksgiving, prayer, and continued obedience. Gratitude is the atmosphere where miracles grow. Keep thanking God, even for the steps you don't yet understand, and the unfolding will continue without interruption. Miracles also carry momentum. One release opens the door for another. What starts as breakthrough in one area will ripple into others. Healing leads to restoration. Provision leads to promotion. Favor leads to expansion. Heaven's blessings rarely travel alone. When Gabriel delivers one word, it carries the potential for many manifestations. That is why your awareness in this stage matters, because the way you respond to the first miracle determines the pace of the next. Pause now and feel what is happening. The current is real. The release is tangible. The invisible hand of heaven is touching the visible world around you. The promise is moving from prophecy to proof. You are not imagining it. You are witnessing the collision of two realms. Heaven is invading your reality. Miracles do not belong to a few chosen souls. They belong to the obedient. And obedience has positioned you here. Everything you've endured, every tear you've sown, every yes you've whispered in the dark has led to this moment. The miracle is no longer coming. It has begun. The unfolding is already underway, and heaven will not stop until the word spoken over your life is fully performed. Gabriel watches closely now. His wings shimmer with the light of completion. The message that was once sealed has become manifestation in motion. What was hidden is now visible. What was pending is now performed. Heaven's decree has taken form, and your miracle stands before you, alive, radiant, undeniable. Type "My miracle is manifesting" in the comments. Blessing code 9090 is now breathing life into your reality. There comes a moment in every divine process when heaven pauses, not to delay, but to confirm. The word has been released. The miracle has begun to manifest. Now it must be sealed. This is the sacred stage where spoken agreement locks divine reality into permanence. Prophetic declaration is not empty speech. It is spiritual legislation. When you declare, heaven records. When you decree, the earth obeys. The angels stand at attention to perform the words aligned with divine authority. This is that moment. The hour where you speak and creation listens. The miracle that began as a whisper now becomes a decree. Every time Gabriel brings revelation, he waits for one final act, human agreement. Heaven requires partnership. God has spoken. The angel has delivered, and now you must echo. For manifestation to become permanence, the decree must be sealed with words spoken in faith. Understand this. Prophetic declaration is not begging heaven. It is enforcing heaven's will. It is the language of dominion, the voice of the redeemed aligning with the voice of the Creator. The miracle becomes permanent when your words mirror God's words. When you say what heaven says, the realms synchronize, and manifestation becomes unbreakable. Now, open your spirit. Feel the fire stirring within. That heat in your chest, that trembling in your hands. It is not emotion. It is the signature of divine authority awakening in you. Heaven is waiting for your sound, the same way it waited for Gabriel's trumpet before divine movement began. Every syllable you release now is a key turning in the locks of destiny. Speak with intention. Speak with faith. Speak with the awareness that angels are standing around you, ready to act. Repeat these declarations within your heart or aloud, if your spirit compels it. I decree that my hour of divine revelation is sealed in light. I declare that what heaven has begun will not be interrupted by earthly opposition. I proclaim that Gabriel's message is fulfilled, that my miracle is permanent, and that acceleration surrounds me. I seal every promise with divine agreement. What was once delayed is now established. No voice of fear, no shadow of doubt, no force of resistance shall undo what God has spoken. It is done. It is sealed. It is complete. As these words leave your lips, see them as threads of gold weaving through time, connecting your now to your forever. The sound of faith travels faster than light. Even as you speak, Gabriel moves to enforce your decree. Angels of manifestation descend to ensure that no demonic interference can reverse what has been declared. Heaven honors faith, but heaven responds to command. You are not merely a recipient of miracles. You are a participant in divine execution. Every declaration carries vibration. Every vibration becomes manifestation. This is why the prophets spoke with authority, because they knew that words shape worlds. When you speak under divine alignment, your voice carries creative energy. You become a co-creator with heaven. That is what this moment signifies, the merging of your sound with heaven's decree. Now envision the miracle sealed in radiant light, unbreakable, untouchable, eternal. The word has taken root. The release has taken form. The decree has been spoken. Heaven's archives now record your agreement. The gate that was once locked is now permanently open. The atmosphere around you shifts again, calm yet powerful, because sealed things do not struggle, they simply remain. This is the moment of divine finality. Nothing undone. Nothing uncertain. Everything ordered. Everything established. Gabriel now ascends to report. The message has been delivered. The decree has been sealed. You have completed the circle of revelation. From promise to manifestation, from waiting to sealing, from hearing to becoming. The miracle is no longer a prayer. It is a reality, sealed by your declaration and witnessed by heaven. The countdown has ended. The hour has been fulfilled. The promise stands eternal. Type IT is sealed in heaven in the comments. Blessing code 8888 now rests upon your words and your destiny. Heaven has spoken. The circle is complete. The revelation has descended. The miracle has manifested, and now the seal is set. What was once unseen has taken form. What was once delayed now flows without resistance. The light that began as a whisper has become a crown of fire resting upon your life. This is the heavenly seal, the final mark of completion upon everything heaven has promised. Gabriel has delivered his message, and now he returns to the throne, wings folded in reverence, carrying your name in the light of fulfillment. His mission is accomplished, but heaven's presence remains. The atmosphere around you is charged with divine residue, proof that the miracle has been anchored. You are not who you were when this message began. Something within you has shifted, expanded, awakened. You have become a carrier of revelation, a vessel of divine manifestation. Every word spoken through this journey now stands as an eternal decree. The portals that opened will not close. The blessings released will not expire. The angels that moved will not retreat. You are walking under an open heaven, sealed by divine authority, shielded by light that darkness cannot penetrate. Carry this revelation forward. Speak it. Live it. Guard it. You are the living testimony of heaven's timing fulfilled. And whenever the world tempts you to doubt again, remember this moment, the sound of completion, the seal of heaven, the whisper of Gabriel saying, "It is done." Type "the heavenly seal is upon me" in the comments. Blessing code 9999 is now marked upon your path. Before this message closes, hear this divine truth. Revelation is meant to move through you, not stop with you. The same light that found you must now flow from you. When you support the sacred mission, when you give through a super thanks, join as a channel member, or sow a seed through PayPal link in the description. You are not simply helping, you are extending heaven's reach. The Spirit declares, "Those who sustain my word upon the earth shall be sustained by my hand in heaven." Every act of giving becomes a declaration that says, "I am part of this movement of light." Each offering carries prophetic power, igniting the same oil of revelation that brought your miracle into being. This is not an earthly exchange. It is a divine covenant. As you release your support, new portals of blessing open around your own life. Heaven responds to every seed sown in obedience, multiplying it in the realm of favor, protection, and acceleration. Stand with this message. Stand with this mission. Be a keeper of light in a darkening world. The same God who sent this word to you will use your faith to awaken others. Type "I am a keeper of light" in the comments. Blessing code 1010 is now multiplying through your giving.